Good morning. I'm Mike Zimmer. I'm executive in residence at the Voinovich School at Ohio University. The shale energy opportunity has been very multidisciplinary. I think we're seeing needs in the short term right now in the real estate, in the water planning, leasing management phase of development. The next phase is going to move into more support for actual production, drilling, bringing in the resources into the communities to support the development. And that'll include housing, healthcare, proper schools, and other planning resources. And then ultimately the development of the infrastructure to support this on a permanent long-term basis, which is those buildings, but also includes things like pipelines, processing centers, roads, multifamily housing, and other types of support to ensure the success of shale energy development in Ohio. You know, Ohio brings a number of benefits to the table. Interestingly, there have been a number of other states that have preceded Ohio in the shale energy play. So Ohio has the benefit of benchmarking and really bringing to bear some of the best practices that can be found based upon the experience, particularly with shale over the prior decade. Ohio also has a great geographic location, both geologically as well as with resources to water and a number of the other material and resources that are vital to the success of shale, like steel manufacturing, pipe, tubing, ball bearings, other types of critical resources. It also has the gift of a wonderful geographic location. Many of the markets served are within 8 hours or less of Ohio, probably representing almost 2/3 of the U.S. population. So there's a transportation logistics benefit in state to bring rigs, bring critical material, staff, and resources to do the job. Finally, because of the location, Ohio can serve the broader region. It's not just a state opportunity, but it can serve the needs of Kentucky, the needs of Michigan, of Pennsylvania, and New York in terms of their shale opportunities and bringing some of those skills to bear. We're also seeing, even in the university, growing interest in the engineering school, in the Voinovich School, in the water area, in the materials resources area, in the area of metallurgy, and also in the area of waste management, and new research projects, new grants being pursued to create the intellectual base and the training of the human capital, as well as the resources and financial capital to ensure the job is done well in the state of Ohio. There are some vital areas I think we want to be sensitive to. Infrastructure is certainly one of those areas, particularly for our communities and the counties that are going to be heavily impacted by this play and opportunity. That needs to ensure that we have the right policies and the right financial resources in place to ensure that those counties can succeed and attract the talents and have the proper housing and education and schools and healthcare for those new workers to succeed in those counties that are directly affected. I think the governor wisely has also outlined in his energy plan a number of the key building blocks of the future in the area of policy, in the area of tax planning, in the area of financial resources available to the counties, in the area of developing storage and the right level of pipeline regulation to ensure that these products can be brought to market once they're found within the state, as well as the proper balance in terms of stewardship and the maintenance of an environment that promotes a quality of life while we capture some of the economic and job opportunities because the state needs to be in this for the long haul. This is not a short-term phenomenon, but we want to have these issues addressed so that we do it well, and that you're creating an economic environment for the citizenry of the state that all can prosper for a number of decades, not just a number of months or years. The impacts on our communities are severalfold. This is an area of particular interest at the Voinovich School, to make sure that the communities are prepared both from an environmental perspective. We're starting to see the need to develop baselines on water and air and other resources within the county so that they can understand the impacts of changes and attempt to adapt or manage those changes to their benefit. Secondly, stewardship in terms of water resources, both from a supply, from a treatment, from a management perspective, is an area of critical interest and concern, and one that the counties are recognizing, as well as the university is uniquely situated to provide advice and supportive assistance in the short term. But we're seeing a lot of interest in new technology and R&D in the water space to provide permanent and lasting solutions for the long term. The third area is the whole area of social service support, and that is ensuring that our communities have the right schools, the right housing, the right multifamily housing, the right health care support for the influx of new workers that will be appearing in the counties, and have the right resources and talents in place, again, to create a quality of life to support those workers, separate from the economic development and job opportunities that are being created by their arrival and by the support of state policies that Ohio is advancing to ensure that this play with shale energy is lasting and a permanent contributor to the state in the future. The universities are interacting in a number of ways and have been, I think, one of the strategic assets of the state of Ohio. A number of economic development studies, supply chain studies, work regarding the opportunities of shale energy. The leadership has come from the state working with the universities to capture with integrity what those opportunities are, what those challenges are. Where the benefits exist, what homework needs to be done to prepare the state for the future. Secondly, the universities are providing, I think, a critical cauldron of challenging the best thinking of policymakers in the state on issues of regulation, on issues of development, on issues of environmental stewardship, to ensure that that balance occurs in the development processes of the state so that all can benefit, as well as the quality of life that people cherish in the state is preserved and protected. Thirdly, I think the universities are a critical source of training and development, whether it's high-end training for engineers or metallurgy skills or scientific based training, or working in support of other levels of training, whether that's at the Voc Tech level, whether that's at retraining people with existing skills to make their contribution in the wide array of jobs that exist in this supply chain for shale in the long term. The final area of contribution I've noted earlier, and that's the acceleration, the interest in R&D, in technology development that we've seen certainly on campus in the grants and the projects being pursued in a multiple number of fora and a number of departments. The final area, the fifth area I guess I'd comment on, is the role of the universities to educate the public and educate the policymakers to promote sound decision-making grounded in economics, grounded in real data, and grounded in prudent science.